Have you ever caught yourself watching a movie and quietly agreeing with the villain? Not with what they did, but with why they did it? You're not alone. As strange as it sounds, many villains resonate with us more than the heroes ever do. And psychology has a lot to say about that. Today we're going to explore why villains often feel more human, more relatable, and more real than the so-called good guys. Let's break it down. Most villains don't wake up evil. They're made. They begin with something deeply familiar. Loss, injustice, betrayal.
Oh, Dylan, you stay here. What? There's a current flow problem in the genomics lab. Why don't you stay and take a look at that?
But it's my birthday. Everybody else is leaving. Why do I have to stay?
Because you're special.
Smythe. Mr. Smythe.
Happy birthday.
Killmonger in Black Panther wasn't born violent. He was abandoned, shaped by systemic violence and personal trauma. His story is one of grief, anger, and a desperate need to reclaim power.
I took life from my own brothers and sisters right here on this continent. And all this death, just so I could kill you.
These aren't supervillain traits. They're human ones. And that's the key. Villains reflect the parts of us shaped by real pain, the kind we don't always talk about. Meanwhile, heroes are often written to be morally unshakable. They always know the right thing to do. But for most of us, life isn't that simple. We relate more to someone who's been hurt and reacts, even if that reaction is flawed. Let's be honest. Heroes are who we wish we were. But villains, they're who we sometimes fear we are. A hero represents the ideal. Selfless, brave, incorruptible. But that version of morality doesn't always feel honest. Especially in a world that's unfair. Or worse, indifferent. Villains aren't trying to be perfect. They're trying to survive. Or to fix what they believe is broken. Sometimes they just stop caring what others think. And in that way, they speak to the darker corners of our own minds. Not because we want to destroy the world, but because we understand what it means to feel powerless and want it to stop. That's not evil. That's healing. In psychology, there's a concept called moral disengagement. It explains how people justify questionable actions, especially when they believe they're doing it for a greater good. Most villains live in this space.
You knew I was the Dragon Warrior. You always knew.
They aren't mindless agents of chaos. They believe they're fixing something. Take Magneto, for example. He's a Holocaust survivor who sees the oppression of mutants as a repeat of history. He doesn't want peace. He wants to prevent genocide by any means necessary. He's not evil for the sake of it. He's a product of trauma with a moral framework shaped by survival. And whether we agree with him or not, his why makes sense. And that's what makes a villain powerful. When you don't agree with their methods, that you completely understand their motives. There's another reason we gravitate towards villains. They do what we can't. They break rules. They speak the truth, even when it's ugly. They take revenge on corrupt systems. They fight back. That doesn't make them right, but it feels good to watch. Psychologically, that's called catharsis. That emotional release we get from seeing someone else express rage, pain, or rebellion. Villains become vessels of our own repressed feelings. They say the quiet part out loud. And in that moment, we connect with them, even if we know they'll lose. So why are villains more relatable than heroes? Because they reflect the sides of us that we're not always proud of, but cannot ignore. The part that's been hurt. The part that questions authority. The part that wants to break free. Heroes inspire us, but villains, they understand us. And maybe, just maybe, that's why we remember them more. Thank you very much for staying to the end of the video. This is my first of many videos, and I would really appreciate if you could subscribe and like the video.